Hey everybody, welcome to this new December update about Rayman 2 Redreamed. This time we'll be answering some of your questions about the project. But first off, let's start with the name change, Rayman 2 Redreamed. As you may have noticed in our socials, we have posted the new name and logo for the project, Rayman 2 Redreamed. Why did that name change from Rayman 2 HD? Well, Redreamed we think that envisions better our reflection, our new vision that we have for the game, while also echoing the original design of it and the original developers. And among all the names that we had, Redreamed was the one that also sounded better. For the logo, we put together a bunch of designs from different Rayman games, and we picked the one that fit better with the aesthetic of the actual game. Keep in mind though that this logo will have different variations and that we'll post even more logos of it in the future. But now, let's answer some of your questions.
Hey everybody, it's Jack. I'm going to be answering a lot of the technical and gameplay related questions of the AMA. I just like to wish everyone a happy holidays. I'm just hoping that you guys are having a good season.
Oh ho ho ho! There he is, your favorite Santa Claus from the newdawn.games audio team. Here I am. My name is Jamie, and I'll be answering some questions today regarding the audio side of things.
We've thought about a few different approaches to do this, but the short answer is yes. We do really want to implement custom skins in the game. We think it'll be something that's fun, that'll be references to other games or just different colors or things like that. But we definitely do want to implement those.
There will be a ton of Easter eggs, lots nodding to the original game, to the other games in the franchise, and some new things even from the general media like movies, etc., like the original did.
Well, I can answer that question. Santa Claus obviously likes the old music, as I think all of us here do, and we have a very warm heart when it comes to listening to those soundtracks. And we get this question often: do we include the original music? The answer to that question is sadly no. We will not be including the original music, but we will be making our own versions of the tracks. Most of these tracks you can already have a sneak peek at the SoundCloud. We have a original album there, and we sometimes share some music on our socials, so check them out. A lot of people will ask you, but why? Santa Claus, why? Why are you not using the original music? Well, I will tell you. Let me fix this a little bit. Yeah, here we go. The original music is obviously very good, but it is a bit dated. And I'm not speaking about the quality of the music or the quality of the arrangements. I'm more speaking about the implementation of things. Because we wanted to make the soundtrack dynamic, which means that once music is playing, we kind of want to do stuff with it. We want to add the intensity when you're fighting bosses, or we want to add the magical feeling when you enter specific areas. And all that stuff is something we're trying to implement right now. And I hope you can check them out when the demo arrives. As for the voices, you asked us, are we doing the original Raymanian? Currently, because of a couple of reasons, we decided to use English as the main cast. So you will hear mostly English, but we will try to infuse them with the original processing. So you will, for instance, if you remember when Lee spoke, there was this ethereal sound thing, and we're trying to recreate that. So you still have that combination of things. And I'm very excited to see how you guys like that.
This is a really good question, and it's actually something we revised multiple times. The first step is going to be getting the original exports of the levels. We have the original level geometry that we have imported into Unreal Engine, and we use those as a real, kind of base for what we build on top of. Once we have that in as a base, we use Unreal Engine's blocking tools using just like simple shapes, deforming things to make our own block out of what we want our version of the level to look like. But after we have kind of the block out for everything, then we start doing a mesh pass where assets from our 3D art department, we take all of those meshes and we start building the level, like cliff walls, curating the pirate structures. We use a lot of modular assets so that we can reuse them in a lot of places, but we can build the environments in engine. It's a really fun process. I actually really love doing that part. And then after we do the meshes and everything, we start going through things like lighting, post-processing, finalize and optimize the levels.
We definitely will be adding new creatures when we see fit. One example that we have already shown is a snail creature that is both a combination from a scrap texture seen in Rayman 3, as well as a snail that appears in a 2D prototype from a Game Boy Advance version of, I think it was Rayman 3. So we combine those two together, and then it's also a reference to, like a very sneaky reference to the line that Rayman is afraid of snails from the song "It's Good to Be the King" from Royal V. So yeah, when we see the potential to include new creatures in future levels, we definitely will. But it will come as it goes.
My favorite version, and the version that this remake is based most off of, is the Dreamcast version. That's the one that I grew up with. I started playing that when I was 3 years old. Actually, no, I think I was 2 years old when I started playing it. I was not good at it, but I did start playing it then. I do really like Revolution, the PlayStation 2 version. I think that they kind of did too much in some areas. Too many things changed, I think. However, I think that they did a really good direction with the expansion on combat and just kind of storytelling aspects that they really tried to push forward that were lacking in the original game. So I love the Dreamcast version the most, and that is what our version is going to be mainly based off of. But we are taking aspects from all of the different versions. So there's going to be a lot of things where a lot of people will be like, are you putting that in the game? And we're taking the best aspects from all versions.
Yes, we do have planned to add more to the original levels and add a few things here and there, taking them from all the different versions of the game and put them all in our project, in our game. What we won't do is add more where it's not needed, so that it doesn't feel empty or bland. We plan on adding stuff where it actually serves a purpose. And yes, there were talks about adding different difficulties, especially after finishing the game, as you mentioned.
This is a really good question, something we get asked a lot. Which version of the hub world are we going to be using? We're going to be merging all of them into our own creation of what we think will be the best hub worlds ever. We think that the Hall of Doors was, beautiful, great. The cosmic river and everything with the portals we think is awesome. We love the, design of the Isle of Doors, and we loved having more, I guess, detailed versions of the levels around the portals. Like you can go up to the fairy hut for the fairy glade, or, the sanctuary doors for, like the sanctuaries. And we want to take those elements and then kind of merge them into Revolution's 3D open hub world where you can explore. We really think that it's going to turn out really nicely. We think you guys are going to really like it, and we want it to be beautiful, and we want it to be just really, really magical, something that we think that, what the teensies could come up with, would be really, really cool.
That kinda is the same answer as the earlier one. there will be no original music in our version, in Rayman 2 Redreamed. But there's a little scoop here. We are planning to give Golem 13 an entirely new sanctuary. That means that everything will be new and built up from the ground up to really give that last boss the respect it deserves. So that also will be an included new soundtrack.
Yes, there will be an on-rails camera like the original, and there will also be stationary cameras that track Rayman in smaller rooms. We're going to keep those aspects, and yeah, if Rayman's in a small room, then the camera will look at him and track where he's going. We want to keep those things because it's very arcade-like, and we think it's really cool.
Same as we do with the current level we are building, we will look at every version of Rayman 2, being it the Dreamcast version, the PC version, the PS1 version, or Revolution, and pull from them all the best aspects of each of the respective levels to make the most refined and definitive version of the level possible for our remake.
Yes.
That's a really good question because that's something that we're really going to do a lot with is the enemies, because Rayman 2 in the original, the combat really was not that great. It's an issue that a lot of people had with the Rayman 2 was that the combat wasn't very threatening. You just kind of go up, you'd see a pirate, you'd shoot him, he'd die. We want to expand on that. We want more threatening AI. We want separate difficulties, so there will be multiple difficulties so that everyone can play the game however they want. Whether you want to just kind of go through and experience the story and have the original experience where you just shoot enemies and they die, or you want a really threatening experience where the pirates will be really tough to get past. We'll have both those experiences and some middle grounds too. Yes, we plan on doing a lot with the Glowbox Village, actually. We love the Glowbox Village, and we think that it was really underutilized in the original, where, it was kind of just a place for mini games, but we would like it to be somewhere that Rayman visits frequently, throughout the game, where, maybe it's somewhere where there are collectibles that are stored, or somewhere where there are experiences you have. We want it to be a more important part of the game, and we're going to be doing quite a bit with it. And so we will have some other playable characters, and we're definitely including the mini games, but we definitely want to do some cool things with it. So expect a lot from the Glowbox Village.
For the Rayman franchise, well, I remember that we weren't really that rich, and I still am not. But Rayman on the shelves of GameStop and whatnot was always discounted at like 5 or 10 euros. And so that was the game that I always got, Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. And that helped me get into Rayman even more. And in general for Rayman 2, I remember that was my first ever video game. I was 4 years old and I received that copy of the game with a new PC, or well, a friend of ours fixed our old PC. It had Windows XP on it, and there was this disc of a game called Rayman 2, The Great Escape. And I remember playing it. I still have the screenshots in my head of me playing the game on this old PC. And I remember that the Cave of Bad Dreams was scary. So I stopped playing it for, I think, months, maybe years, and then I got back to it and I finished it years later. But yeah, I think that's pretty common.
Well, guys, I can tell you this. When I was a little Santa Claus, a small, wee little boy, I had no idea what the language was. I couldn't read. I had no idea what it all meant, which was a little bit of a problem. Oh, let me fix this. Which was a little bit of a problem when I came to the entrance of the Cave of Bad Dreams. Because I thought we had to go in there, but the guy didn't let me in. So I had no idea what to do. And I tried for hours and hours to find the entrance, but I couldn't get it. Up until later, I understood that I needed to search for Clark's potion.
My favorite memory is actually, it's not really a memory of the game, but it was in my mom. When I was about 6 years old, she looked online. This was, more in the early days of the internet, and she went online and she found a 100% guide for Rayman 2, and she printed out, I think it was a stack of about 50 pages, and she printed them out on our printer, and she gave it to me, and she was like, here you go, I want you to, read this. I was starting to develop more reading skills, and, she was like, I want you to read through this, and you can, get all of the collectibles in Rayman 2. And so I spent weeks, reading through that entire thing and finding every single Lum cage. And there were so many places that were, like hidden areas in Rayman 2 that I didn't know existed because I was so young and I wasn't very good at the game. But reading through that and finding out where all the places were and where these Lums and cages were, it was a really, really special just experience for me, and it was awesome. So that's my favorite memory.
All right, and God damn it. Thank you for watching this presentation of the AMA from New Dawn Games. See you next year.